therefore that they are toxic. And that's not what I'm doing. That's not where I'm coming from. To me, therapy begins with an unconditional positive regard for the person. Now, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to agree with what they're doing. Okay, so this is very, very important. So I need, as a therapist, to understand that men inherently bring a lot of guilt and shame to the therapeutic encounter, and they're geared to wait for some form of judgment. Okay, so let me explain the difference between guilt and shame, because that often gets confused. Fundamentally, guilt refers to a feeling that arises from something that we've done. Okay, so, I broke mum's precious vase. So after hiding the evidence, I'm going to be plagued by guilt. Okay, simple sort of example, meaningful nonetheless. Now, shame is a feeling we hold about who we are. So it's a core sense, a core emotion in many respects. And in today's social media climate, and with people creating divisions, us versus them, a lot of men have picked up the idea that we are seen as being the problem. And my comment is that as men, we are not the problem. The problem is how we've been socialized. And the problem is when we choose not to change to be a person that is more adaptable, more flexible, more resilient, more empathic, and more emotionally versed. Right? So this is an important aspect of that whole journey of going into therapy. So the next aspect, apart from this being framed as a meaningful conversation in a therapeutic relationship, and it is the therapeutic relationship that is the most important variable in helping anybody, let alone men, to change in the right direction. So a lot of guys often ask me about, what's the purpose of therapy? And I go, well, there's probably three aspects to it: self-awareness and connection, flexibility and adaptability, and authenticity and resilience. And one of my jobs is to help you work through the defenses that stop all of that from occurring in your existence, in your being, a human being alive. Okay. So this is where the rubber really hits the road. And I think as therapists, and when I supervise therapists and work with them, the idea is to, establish solid rapport, make it as non-threatening as possible initially so that the person can trust you, so that they can open up. I mean, for men, it takes a while to open up, and I don't care with what issue they come to therapy with. It's in essence a process of peeling the onion. And in the next episode of this, I'm going to go through what I mean by peeling the onion. So in sort of wrapping this up, therapy needs to be sensitive to the differences that men present with, not in terms of the problem, but rather how we process. And that process has been, in a way, established through our socialization. So it's about guiding men towards an idea that, therapy is more than just fixing a problem. It's more just, than just getting rid of your anxiety, your depression, or your anger management issues. It's about helping you find a pathway of being a more whole human being, experiencing yourself, your relationships, and life in general from a much, much more meaningful and satisfying perspective. One wherein you accept that your head, your beliefs and attitudes can be a serious roadblock to being the person that you can be, and stopping you from feeling how you could feel. In fact, trying to bury emotions is already a big problem. And we talked about that in terms of, the example of, pushing the ball underwater. So in the next podcast, I'm going to explore that whole idea about peeling the onion, which I worked with personally with one of my mentors, George Rosner, a Gestalt therapist from the United States. And that relationship to me was fundamentally meaningful, both in terms of therapy, the masterclass, but also for me as an individual person. Okay, some food for thought for men, for women, and especially for therapists. Until next time, this is me signing off.
Thank you for listening to Inspire Change with Gunter. Gunter Swoboda does individual and group coaching for men looking to grow. For more information on this and the global Making Good Men Great movement, check out goodmengreat.com to get into contact. If you have a topic for the show or would like to be a guest on the air, please email producers at miranda@noirtainment.com. That's Miranda, Miranda, at noirtainment, noirtainment.com. Thank you, and always keep inspiring change.